In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Steering Committee meeting summarizes 40 years of renovation. And spreading values, national identity and culture of Vietnamese community. In the world news, WHO warns of dangerous new monkeypox variants as cases spread.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. On Thursday morning, Party General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm chaired the fourth meeting of the Steering Committee tasked with reviewing theoreticals and practical issues related to Vietnam's four-decade socialist-oriented or đổi mới renewal process. More on the following story.
At the meeting, General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm affirmed that the summary report on 4 years of renovation is an extremely important input for the development of the draft documents to be submitted to the 14th National Party Congress. He highly praised the efforts of the steering committee members in preparing the draft summary report with 5 outstanding results, including clarifying the theoretical development of party on innovation, evaluating and clarifying achievements and limitations on major issue groups, building and developing social-oriented market economy, developing culture, society and people, national defense, security and foreign affairs, and building and rectifying the party and a clean and strong political system. General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm also suggested that the steering committee should continue to consider and clarify matters by finding the limitations and causes of issues at the core, thereby proposing more effective solutions. The draft report also needs to point out policies that are viable to implement and continue to promote.
I really hope that the members of the steering committee will unify their awareness of the new context that is opening a new era, the era of the Vietnamese people's rise after 40 years of implementing the renovation process. The spirit is to look straight at the truth, accurately assess the results achieved, and frankly and objectively point out the limitations, weaknesses, shortcomings and causes, especially the bottlenecks that have not been or are slow to be resolved and overcome in the country's development.
The General Secretary and State President emphasized that summarizing a number of theoretical and practical issues of the social-oriented renovation process over the past 4 years is a very important task. The steering committee is requested to continue to complete the draft to submit to the Politburo for comments and then complete it once more to submit to the plenary session.
Meeting small and medium-sized enterprises on Thursday afternoon to celebrate the 79th anniversary of the National Day, General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm hoped that the businesses would develop well and have a deep awareness of their honor and responsibility to the country. More to follow.
General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm asserted the important role of small and medium enterprises, which account for more than 98% of the total number of enterprises, contribute 50% of GDP, 35% of total budget revenue, and create jobs and income for more than 50% of workers nationwide. In addition, many enterprises have carried out meaningful activities, contributing to ensuring social security.
80% of resources are small and medium enterprises. A developed society cannot exist without enterprises. In the current economic development conditions, solidarity, alliance, and support between enterprises in society are extremely important. Each person plays a role in a stage of production, and there is a great need for mutual support between enterprises and banks, between enterprises and scientists, and even within enterprises.
The nation's highest leader affirmed that there was a huge potential for development when Vietnam has 5 million business households and each can become a small and micro enterprise. Enterprises must focus on innovating themselves, building brand reputation, and especially making the most of opportunities from the 4.0 Industrial Revolution.
The key task is removing difficulties, obstacles, and bottlenecks to serve socio-economic development. The party and state always pay attention to the business community, especially small and medium enterprises, as they're currently the focus of the country's economic policies. The fight against corruption must continue to be promoted, resolutely and persistently. We must stop corruption and not let it affect production and business.
The General Secretary and State President requires businesses to absolutely comply with the law, protect the environment, maintain national prestige, and say no to commercial fraud. More importantly, they must accompany the party and state in the fight against corruption and negativity.
On Thursday morning at the National Convention Center, Prime Minister Phie attended the opening session of the 4th World Conference of Overseas Vietnamese and the 2024 Forum of Overseas Vietnamese Intellectuals and Experts. The event witnessed the participation of 400 delegates representing more than 6 million Vietnamese people living abroad.
At the event, Prime Minister Phie emphasized 3 important messages for overseas Vietnamese. First of all, the motto, "The Vietnamese community abroad is an inseparable part and a resource of community," has always been a consistent policy of our party and state. Second, the country expects and trusts overseas Vietnamese in the cause of building and defending the fatherland. Their success is also the success of the country. Third, Vietnam cherishes and understands Vietnamese people's thoughts and aspirations and highly appreciates the valuable contributions of the Vietnamese community abroad.
It's the responsibility of the party, state, ministries, localities, and people to firstly protect the legitimate and legal rights of the Vietnamese community abroad. Second, they must maximize the strength of the community in the cause of building and defending the nation in the current climate. Third, they must build the Vietnamese community abroad as a bridge, a driving force and a resource to promote the country's deep, substantive, and effective international integration. Fourth, the party, state and government always listen to, share and implement the appropriate, dedicated, responsible and intelligent suggestions of the Vietnamese community abroad for the overall development of the country.
The Prime Minister requested to further promote the tradition of great national unity, promote great resources and patriotism, promptly remove obstacles, and have favorable mechanisms and policies for the Vietnamese community abroad to invest and do business. The government's leaders hopes that the community will develop strongly, spread values, national identity, culture, and the Vietnamese community.
The same day, Prime Minister Phie attended a ceremony celebrating the 55th anniversary of the Vietnam chemical sector, August 19, 1969, August 19, 2024 in Hanoi. At the event, the government leader hailed the sector achievements over the past 55 years. Prime Minister Phie said the chemical sector is one of the leading sectors of industrializations and modernizations and asked the Vietnam Chemical Group, VINRChem, to follow the party and state policies on industrial development and the strategies for developing Vietnam's chemical industries until 2030 with a vision towards 2040. On Thursday morning, under the chair of National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn, the National Assembly Standing Committee continues the questions and answer sessions on the implementation of the resolutions of the National Assembly Standing Committee in the fields of public security, justice, and courts.
Voters believe that the government needs to establish a larger, more well-organized cybercrime fighting force to prevent cybercrime. What is your response to this?
Solutions to combat this type of crime must be specific. Firstly, we need to promote the use of electronic identification accounts for citizens. These serve as digital IDs in cyberspace to authenticate identities when participating in online activities and limit frauds. Secondly, it is necessary to promote the national population database to eliminate virtual accounts and junk SIM cards. Thirdly, it is necessary to strengthen the capacity of the cybersecurity force. We advise voters to be vigilant when receiving phone calls from unknown numbers.
A proposal has been made to address the issue of improperly prepared law drafting dossiers. These problems include late submissions, missed deadlines. Mr. Minister, could you please give us an explanation?
The first solution is enforcing discipline. Minister must be in charge of legal work. It is necessary to strengthen the quality of human resources. In the current context, human resources are fundamental. The government has amended Decree 55, issuing salary reform for public workers. We will consider amending and supplementing the law of promulgating legal documents.
National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn has praised the recent cooperative efforts between the two-party state national assemblies and governments of Vietnam and Laos. Speaking at the meeting in Hano on Thursday with Mr. Somat Phonsena, Vice Chairman of the Laos National Assembly and Chairman of the Laos Peace and Solidarity Committee, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn highlighted the numerous high-level visits and exchanges between the two sides and their effective coordination in implementing signed agreements. He said that in addition to diplomatic activities, people-to-people exchanges have been promoted through the Fatherland Front and the Unions of Friendship Organizations. Vietnam's National Assembly Chairman suggested that the two countries continue to enhance the exchange of high-level delegations across all levels and closely coordinate and support each other in multilateral mechanisms and people's forums, both regionally and globally. Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnamese ally expand fleet to boost industry growth. And Vietnam launches major measles vaccination campaign. With the theme Real Estate Architecture and Interior and Exterior Decoration, the VIBill International exhibition in Ho Chi Minh City kicks off Thursday morning in the southern metropolis of Vietnam. There are more than 1,200 booths of nearly 400 enterprises coming from many countries at the exhibition. A wide range of products are being introduced, expecting to meet visitors' demand in such categories as housing, constructions, and interior and exterior decoration. All the products are particularly expected to meet sustainable development standards, be environmentally friendly, and adaptable to modern society. At the exhibition, there are also many exchange programs, business forums, and cooperation signing ceremonies. The exhibition will last until August 26th. As global aviation struggles with a decline in fleet size due to engine recalls, Vietnamese airlines are taking more active steps to address the challenge. To meet rising flight demand, domestic airlines are actively seeking to add and replace their current aircraft and are introducing several new wide-body planes into service. This strategic move aims to support growth and enhance their operational capacity despite ongoing industry difficulties.
At 68 meters in length, 367 seats, the Boeing 787-10 can achieve a maximum flight range of 12,000 kilometers. It is currently the largest aircraft in the Vietnamese aviation fleet.
With this plane, we'll start operating the Northeast Asia route, and come September, we'll add the Munich route. We're confident this new aircraft will significantly improve our fleet and service in the future.
In the first half of the year, airlines increased their operating time from 11 to over 13 hours per day per aircraft and boosted their loading capacity by up to 24%. By September, all 4 domestic airlines will add 7 new aircraft to replace those recalled due to engine issue.
We're working closely with airlines to help them reach out, negotiate, and handle all the paperwork needed for new aircraft leases. Additionally, we're asking airlines to consider adding more long-term lease or purchase agreements.
Vietjet Air is actively expanding its fleet, recently ordering 20 new A330-900s to replace its A330-300 and expecting to receive 10 new aircraft by year-end. Meanwhile, Bamboo Airways has leased 3 additional A320 and plans to receive another by the 4th quarter. These additions reflect the rapid expansion of the industry.
And the best future fleets for Vietnam as a whole. Boeing continues to partner with the airlines across Vietnam. We continue to partner with the airlines by helping the airlines to evaluate.
With the international flight network expanding to new markets in Central Asia, India, and Australia, the growth in the aircraft fleet is a key driver of recovery and progress in the Vietnamese aviation industry.
The Australian government, in partnership with the World Health Organization, is rolling out over 1.1 million doses of measles vaccines to high-risk areas and outbreak zones in Vietnam. The initiative, which was announced online at the World Immunizations Week 2024 conference held Thursday afternoon at the Ministry of Health, aims to target schools and medical facilities to curb the spread of measles.
Vietnam has reported over 2,000 measles cases nationwide, including nearly 600 cases and 3 deaths in Ho Chi Minh City alone. Experts warn that the epidemic could intensify when students return to school in September. As the COVID-19 pandemic has previously disrupted vaccine supplies and vaccination efforts, creating an immunity gap among children, the vaccination campaign will now cover children aged 1 to 10 years old.
Measles is highly contagious, spreading up to 18 times more than other diseases. If one person is infected and others aren't vaccinated, it will likely spread quickly. We've identified 18 high-risk provinces, with the threat reaching district levels. Our initial phase will target about 100 districts to control the outbreak.
For districts included in this campaign, measles vaccines will be provided free of charge and will target only those who were not vaccinated in previous campaigns.
That results in entire communities being exposed to the risk of measles. Measles is also a very serious disease affecting young children. Young children can get very sick and can even die as a result of measles.
Are immunized. Education and the school year will start soon, so we also are very keen that the education authorities are mostly engaged at national and provincial level. So our role has been in this country for more than 50 years and also today to be supporting the government of Vietnam.
Regarding the Ho Chi Minh City Department of Health's proposal to declare a measles epidemic, the Ministry of Health confirmed that the decision will also depend on the city's capacity to respond effectively with available resources and personnel.
The Vietnam Coast Guard has been actively engaged in not only enforcing maritime law, but also supporting fishermen at sea and safeguarding the nation's sacred maritime sovereignty. To fulfill those duties with particularly effectiveness and responsibility, several significant programs have been implemented under the Vietnam Coast Guard watch, such as the Coast Guard Accompanied Fishermen Initiative. This support has become a reliable source of encouragement, helping fishermen confidently venture out to sea.
The Coast Guard has stood by fishermen during storms, searched for and rescued maritime workers in distress, and provided medical care to fishermen on vessels located far offshore. Its presence has been timely and consistent whenever civilian assistance is required.
I have the utmost respect for the Vietnam Coast Guard. Their troops are strong and fearless. I'm forever indebted to them because I wouldn't have been able to survive the predicament without their rescue.
Luckily, the Coast Guard troop managed to send my husband home. Without them, there's no telling how long it would have taken him to recover.
Over the past 5 years, the Coast Guard Accompanies Fishermen program has rescued and assisted 63 vessels in distress and safely brought over 1,000 people back to shore. Additionally, 58 students from underprivileged fishing families have been awarded scholarships up to the age of 18.
The presence of the Coast Guard has been highly valued, not just in Quang Ngai province, but across all coastal regions. We all are in need of more frequent patrols, not only during the stormy season, but also during fishing operations. Help fishermen maintain discipline.
This initiative has significantly raised public awareness and compliance with the law, particularly among fishermen. It contributes to ensuring maritime security and safety, the maritime economy, and reinforcing a strong national defense at sea.
By putting fishermen's interests first, the Coast Guard has effectively mobilized the strength of the people. This is evident in the strong support the program has received over the past 5 years from the standing committees of 28 coastal provinces.
A press conference on the Hanoi's Date in Ho Chi Minh City program marking the 70th anniversary of the Capital Liberation Day, October 10, 1954, was organized in Ho Chi Minh City on August 21st. According to the organizers, the Hanoi Date in Ho Chi Minh City program will take place in the southern metropolis on August 23rd to 25th, aiming at introducing the significant meaning of Hanoi Liberation Day and achievements in building and developing this capital city over the past 70 years. Furthermore, the event will promote the unique culture and heritage of the 1,000-year-old city, Hanoi, and Hanoians to domestic and foreign visitors. It also strengthened cooperative relations between Hanoi, the city for peace and innovation, and Ho Chi Minh City via the promotion and utilization of culture, heritage, tourism, economies, services, and trade of the two sides. It will also create opportunities for businesses and attract Hanoians to visit Ho Chi Minh City and vice versa. There will be an exhibition marking the 70th anniversary of the Liberation Day of Hanoi, featuring a display of products, tourism promotional activities, and sport and arts exchanges. The opening ceremony will take place in Nguyễn Huệ Walking Street in District 1 at 8 p.m. on August 23rd. Coming up next in our World News. Severe flooding hits northern Thailand. And WHO warns of dangerous new monkeypox variants as cases spread. Severe flooding has hit northern Thailand, hard-flowing days of relentless heavy rain. The provinces of Nam, Chiang Rai, and Phie are among the hardest hit, with Nam suffering the most damage. Hundreds of villages and communes across 10 districts are inundated as overflowing rivers submerge homes and agricultural land. Many national and provincial highways are under up to a meter of water, and landslides have blocked numerous roads. In Chiang Rai, the situation is dire, with at least 2 reported deaths. The Thailand Meteorological Department warns that heavy rains are expected to continue in 12 provinces across the northern and northeastern Thailand. The World Health Organization has issued a warning about the spread of monkeypox as cases and deaths rise across Africa. Outbreaks have been reported in Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda since July. The virus has now spread to Europe and Asia, with cases confirmed in Sweden, Pakistan, Thailand, the Philippines, and Australia. The WHO has highlighted a new, more dangerous variant of monkeypox, variant 1B. Thailand had detected a case in a European traveler suspected to be the first instance of variant 1B in the country. The patient is currently in isolation at a hospital. In Africa, the disease has reached 12 of the continent's 54 countries. Monkeypox spread through physical contact and typically causes flu-like symptoms and close-filled sores. Although often mild, it can lead to severe complications or death, particularly for children, pregnant women, and those with weakened immune systems. China has announced it will investigate European Union's subsidies on dairy products imported into the country. This move follows the EU's recent plan to impose import duties on Chinese electric vehicles. China Ministry of Commerce will examine subsidies on various EU dairy items, including fresh cheese, blue cheese, and some milk and cream products. The investigation will scrutinize subsidies under the EU Common Agriculture Policies and is expected to be completed within a year, with a possible extension of 6 months. This development comes after the European Commission proposed up to 36% import duties on Chinese electric cars over the next 5 years, unless an alternative solution to the trade dispute over state subsidies is reached. Cambodia on August 22nd welcomed the return of a batch of trafficked Buddhist and Hindu statues from collectors and museums in the United States. In recent years, the kingdom has worked closely with U.S. officials to secure the returns of hundreds of precious cultural artifacts, many of them stolen and exported illegally. Take a look in the following story.
Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet on Thursday attended a homecoming ceremony for several centuries-old antiques looted from the country during war and unrest. Hun Manet, accompanied by Cambodia's Minister of Culture, laid garlands in front of Asian statues on display during the ceremony, which was attended by several government officials and U.S. diplomats in Phnom Penh's Peace Palace.
The government of Cambodia considers that the return of antiquities to Cambodia, the rightful owner, is a show of respect. They are not only showing their morality by promoting the value of the culture of a nation, but also preserving the culture of humans as well.
Among the 70 items on display, 14 sculptures were repatriated from New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art last year and arrived in Cambodia on July the 3rd. The other 56 items came from private collections previously stolen from Cambodia. The artifacts included various Khmer cultural treasures, pre-Angkor and Angkor period Hindu sculptures of Shiva and Uma, and the bronze head of a statue of Buddhist saint Lokeshwara.
And now let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download a mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.